Let me tell you a short story wherein two close friends, Iran and America, so close, became grave enemies, and they want one of the country to be completely eliminated.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. This terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
Yes, the story which finally ended in the great America and Iran war. Let me decode to you in just 3 minutes. After the World War in the early 1950s, having oil reserve is like they hold pure power. And also, to have national security, they need to have nuclear power. So once you have oil reserve and nuclear technology, then you are the most powerful among the world countries. That was the situation soon after the World War in early 1950s. Back then, America had no oil reserve, but then they had nuclear technology. So they were named as a safe country, but then energy security was not there. So they wanted to have strong oil reserve. Then they got in touch with Iran. Back then, Iran had huge oil reserve, one of the largest in the world. And then USA ran its tactic. America allied with Iran for oil reserves in return for cash, weapons and nuclear technology, because Iran had no nuclear technology and they had felt this insecurity of national security. So then America gave that in return for their oil reserve from Iran. So back then in 1950 to 1960, Iran saw exponential growth with the support of America. Many of the cities, including Tehran, just looked like New York City, so advanced. But in return, the 80% of Iran's oil profit was going to America. And if you see, this earnings was distributed between the Americans and the rich people, including the government authorities of Iran. The poor remained poor, but the rich in Iran became so rich because of this oil wealth. So back then in 1971, the Shah of Iran, the head of Iran, basically threw a party to all the US authorities, not for the Iranian normal people, but mind you, the main US authorities and government. And this party was so costly, as high as today's 72,000 crore, which is too huge for a party. And because of this, the poor people, the normal people, common people of Iran got so angry and they started rebellion against the Iranian government and obviously against America's intervention for the oil extraction from Iran. This rebellion then was led by Ayatollah Khamenei, who is now killed by America in the recent US-Iran war. So finally, under the great leadership of Ayatollah Khamenei, who had interest for the common people of Iran and against USA, a grave enemy of USA, took over reign from Shah of Iran at that time, and they brought in the new regime in Iran. So Ayatollah Khamenei, as soon as he came into power, he first closed all the oil deals with America, turned Iran into an Islamic republic, and even shut down all the nuclear research facilities and nuclear programs which was funded by America. America obviously was so angry at that time with Iran that he sanctioned the $12 billion assets which was held by Iran in America. This led to great enmity in between the earlier so friendly two nations, America and Iran. Even America was so angry that he funded Iraq with money and weapons against Iran. And in 1980, there came Saddam Hussein. Under the leadership of Saddam Hussein, there was a long-lasting 8-year Iran-Iraq war, which almost costed 5 lakh lives. Out of the box, it's also a matter of fact that later, when Saddam Hussein went against Kuwait's oil reserves, then the same America brought in 30 countries against Saddam Hussein, and they only facilitated the public hanging, execution of Saddam Hussein, because America doesn't like anyone against them. They just want pure monopoly and their economy to flourish, and they will use countries and they will eliminate those countries and people once the use is done and once they turn against them. This story repeats in case of Gaddafi of Venezuela, Saddam Hussein of Iraq, and even many other places wherein US has facilitated the various countries with weapons and funding to ensure whoever turns against US is completely eliminated with pure power play and strategic alignments. So simply, the Iran story for oil reserve. In Chile, they did similar things for copper mines, and similar in Guatemala as well for some banana company business. So all this US does to ensure their economic safety and their interest. Back in 2015, while Barack Obama was the president of America, he had removed all earlier sanctions on Iran and had brought in peace. But then Later in 2018, once Trump administration came, they had brought in sanctions again because he was totally against Iran.
President Barack Obama's administration negotiated a deal with Iran's President Hassan Rouhani. It limited Iran's nuclear facilities in return for sanctions relief, but not everyone saw it as a success.
Never, ever in my life have I seen any transaction so incompetently negotiated as our deal with Iran.
So as mentioned in my earlier short as well, America and its administration will go to any worst extent to preserve their economic interests, their monopoly. So whichever country it is, including India, they will bring in tariff, they will bring in war if at all, if other things are not working, but then they will ensure their economic dominance and their US dollar dominance for all the trades is in place. See you in next video. Till then, happy investing.